Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the eAe podcast where we talk everything about everything gaming, movies, TV shows, anime, comic books, and music. We do occasionally go on the odd tangent, but nonetheless, in today's episode, movies, the news, the trailers. In the past 2 weeks, we had the Super Bowl in America, and that just meant spam loads of trailers. I'm your host, Saint D, and I'm joined by Insanity and Snare. How you guys doing?
I'm alright, bro.
Pretty good, I guess.
I feel like we need a jingle after D speaks. It just reminds me of those old school things. So we need like three ladies singing. And we all round, call about.
I'll work on a jingle at some point. But nonetheless, today, the main things we're covering right now, the biggest news to drop in the past few weeks, Spidey is heading to Marvel.
Yes.
Among the trailers that we will be covering, Jurassic World released a trailer. Tomorrowland is happening. Heroes Reborn is happening. Kingsman dropped a trailer in the past 2 weeks, and the movie is currently out. Ted 2 also dropped another movie. They dropped another trailer, and Fantastic Four also dropped a trailer. So, on to the first order of business. Spider-Man. What are your thoughts, guys? I'm excited.
Well, if you checked our last podcast, you would have straight away seen my answer to that, bro. When I was begging for them to get Spider-Man into Marvel, bro, I was begging, I was pleading, and obviously the guys at MarvelNet obviously listen to our podcast, because we're tight like that, and they obviously heard my request, and they've decided to go for it.
I'm excited.
I like it, but I like it for different reasons. Most people are excited because they're going to see Spider-Man in the Civil War storyline, Spider-Man in the Avengers, etc.
Yeah.
I'm just glad now that there's no possibility ever again of another Spider-Man 3. I'm cool now. We've seen it twice.
The timing was impeccable because it's obviously after the Amazing Spider-Man happened. They had plans to make an Amazing Spider-Man 3, but unfortunately, Amazing Spider-Man did not live up to expectations. So as it stands right now, the deal is Sony still has creative control over Spider-Man,
Yes.
but let's be real for a second. Sony may have creative control in name only because obviously he's gonna be featuring in the Avengers, and that's Marvel. They're gonna have the big say, especially knowing how Sony has handled Spider-Man up to recent years. And on top of that, they are planning for obviously another reboot. Ladies and gentlemen, it is another reboot for Spider-Man. And sure, Sony has creative control, but Marvel will have, indeed, they'll be the big chef in that kitchen.
Well, no, not Marvel, Disney. Let's not forget
Disney.
who's really
Yeah,
in
fair
charge here.
enough. Fair enough.
One of the things I do like actually about the fact that Marvel, Sony, like you just mentioned, going to have creative control, but it's essentially a Marvel show.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting seeing Spider-Man in a new light because every Spider-Man we've gotten so far has kind of been this broody, angsty type of thing. But overall, the Marvel universe tends to be a lot more jovial and colorful. So because of that, right, and because of how the other characters in the Avengers are, like for example Tony Stark, who they've got a lot of banter going, a lot of Joss Whedon dialogue has been stolen in between the Avengers. So
Yeah.
having Spider-Man in that interaction is gonna give us that classic, constantly quipping, constantly making, mini bars type of Spider-Man that I think we've all been looking for. But I think it's gonna be the first time we're gonna get to see it. Also, I kind of think what Amazing Spider-Man did by making Peter Parker a lot less smart, that was kind of a mistake. But it takes away a lot from the character because now you're like, well, everything cool he kind of does feels like an asshole because they haven't stated that this kid he's smart, but he's not like, in the original trilogy. There's you are like, okay, yeah, there's Peter Parker, dude. I see, I understand. Here you're just like an Amazing Spider-Man. Like, could you imagine the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man trying to talk shop with Tony Stark? That wouldn't really work. So I think a reboot is in order for him to work in the Avengers.
So by saying that, you definitely think it's a new actor that they're going to.
I'm
Don't think
pretty
they
Oh,
should.
sure.
definitely.
I'm pretty
I'd
sure
put
it's a
money on
new
that.
actor.
Yeah.
Speaking on that level, who do you guys think will be the top contenders for that? Because I see there's lists coming out, and uh, it looks like the fans are kind of split because on one side people are wanting another Peter Parker story. On the other side, everyone and their grandmothers is kind of asking for Miles Morales, and I'm not entirely sure if Marvel is kind of invested in a character who sure has gotten he's gotten a lot more traction in recent years. But I mean, if I were to ask my mother who is Peter Parker, she knows Spider Man. If I bring up the name Miles Morales, who is that? The postman.
Yeah.
See, it's that type of thing. But what do you guys think? Do they bring Peter Parker or do they go for Miles Morales?
Okay, so this is how I think about it, right? The first time that they rebooted the Spider-Man franchise, um, they try to distance themselves as far from Spider-Man 3 as humanly possible, right? So they got new actors for everything, got a new heroes to focus on, got the whole animal motif going, changed the Peter Parker, made the Parker less smart, changed the suit design, changed the web design, changed how the webs formulate, went as far as changing art direction, score, different like people in charge of the studio production.
Yeah,
What else did they change that was a big deal? And they changed the love interest, right?
yeah,
So they went out of their way. They're like, okay, guys, we need to erase the memory of Spider-Man 3 from the collective consciousness, right? They even
yeah.
found a guy who's taller than the old Spider-Man, wears lost in Jeffrey, or like, just let it not happen. So if they're gonna go that route again, right? Because let's be honest, the reason, like you mentioned, the reason the reboot was done because Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't live up to expectations.
Yeah.
So if that's the plan, then logically it would make sense if they went for Miles Morales, because then they'd be like, okay, fine, this didn't work. Let's go back to the beginning, right? And because I don't want to sit through another Peter Parker origin story.
Yeah.
I've had enough of Uncle Ben dying. I've seen it enough times. I'm happy now. So we do something new, right? If they go Miles Morales, it'll also allow them to tie into what happened to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Because sometimes, when you reboot or when you just change franchises, it seems weird to see a new actor without any context. So if they do that, it allows us to get closure for Andrew Garfield because he still has a lot of fans.
Yeah.
A lot of people are still expecting to see him as Spider-Man at some point in the future. But if they change it to Miles Morales, you can close off his storyline while at the same time introducing a new Spider-Man for the new generation that won't be bogged down in the Peter Parker history.
Yeah.
Here's my say. Miles Morales, Donald Glover, Gigi, well played.
Yes, yes, yes. Here we go.
Well,
What
there's a
a show.
hashtag. There's a hashtag probably going out right now. Miles Morales for Spider-Man. I think definitely. If they want to really go the fresh route, Miles Morales would probably be a big thing that they're gonna go for. But here's another thing that I'm thinking about though. Going back to the Sony side, Sony still has a plan to go for a Sinister Six movie. They still have plans for this character, and then you look at the Marvel side. I'm not entirely sure if they're willing to risk an immediate entry for Miles Morales. So potentially they could go for handing down the gauntlet to the new kid on the block. That could certainly work. I'm just not sure if they're gonna go for it. I certainly would want to see Miles Morales. I mean, if you look at the comic books right now, Ultimate Spider-Man, it is some good stuff being written there.
Wait, I have a question actually. What comes out first on the Marvel timeline? Is it Sinister Six or is it the new Captain America where they bring in Spider-Man?
I think Captain America's probably coming out. Let me just check that for you. But here's another big thing though. Marvel has also they've also pushed back their dates for a couple of movies as a result of this whole Spider-Man moving to Marvel. So here's another big question. Where is he making his first appearance? Because Civil War would be the ideal place for him to show up firstly. But then again, Civil War, I mean, if I don't know if I don't think production has started as of yet, but they probably already have their plans up and running for that. So do you reckon he's gonna make a showing in Civil War? or or are they gonna introduce him in Age of Ultron? No, not Age of Ultron. What comes after? What's the next Marvel movie after?
I believe it's it is Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
it's
that's
Age of
already been
Ultron.
made.
Then it's Ant-Man. Then it's Cap 3, Doctor Strange. I think Guardians 2. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. I don't
Yeah.
have the list in front of me right now.
Knowing Marvel, they're going to put a sneak trailer to him in one of their, the after credit scenes, bro. Almost guaranteed. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw it after Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. How amazing would it be that the end credit scene would be something to do with Peter Parker or Spidey in the flesh
Or Miles
Ooh.
or
Morales.
Miles
Miles
Morales.
Morales. Yeah.
I'm just, guys don't understand how biased I am to Childish Gambino or Donald Glover. I loved him in Community. I dig his song. So I just want to see him as Spider-Man. I think he would be the most perfect Spider-Man you could ever ask for. So I'm full on voting for that.
And he does have a very, very decent traction in terms of his fan base. I mean, on one end he was on Community, on the other he was the voice of Miles Morales. So he does have some traction. People do see him as a Spider-Man.
Yep. People have seen him as Spider-Man. Or actually, hold on. This might be the plan, right? So they go Superior Spider-Man storyline.
Oh my
They
god.
in Sinister Six, right? They get whoever's gonna be Doctor Octopus. He
Yeah.
does the mind swap thing,
Yeah.
kills Peter Parker, and goes in as the new Spider-Man. That would be some crazy shit. I would love to see that actually.
I wouldn't mind that. The Superior Spider-Man arc is actually a very, very good arc. Getting to see that whole mind swap thing, just to see if you put Doc Ock in Peter Parker's shoes, how would things go out? And that obviously introduced that was in the current continuity for Marvel. That actually introduced that's when the baton was passed from essentially Peter Parker, since he died at some point. That is how Miles Morales came into the fold. So
Yeah.
that could be another way. There's so many ways they could really go about this actually.
Okay, but guys, just a hit point here. I think we should go into the next movie. Otherwise, we're gonna have an hour just on Spider-Man.
Okay, fair enough. Now we go into the trailers section. The biggest thing maybe coming out from in the past 2 weeks in terms of trailers, Jurassic World gave us a new trailer. Have you guys seen it?
Unfortunately.
And the moment I saw it, I am in between. I'm literally on the fence right now, because I think the first teaser that they put out, it kind of felt like they were trying to recapture the magic of the original Jurassic Park. But then you see this new trailer, and it starts feeling like they actually want to out how do I put it? They want to out spectacle the last Jurassic Park. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that.
My primary problem with what they're doing with Jurassic Park, right, is the fact that they're doing it at all. There's a reason why Jurassic Park are the only legitimate dinosaur movies that they've ever made. Primarily because after seeing the original Jurassic Park, everyone realized, well, this is pretty much impossible to do justice to. So there's no point ever trying again. And how Jurassic
Okay,
Park itself
folks,
has been
she's a
unable to
little
do justice
shy.
to itself since the first one. So at what point do you think to yourself, do we stop trying? Sure, they can go in again, right? And they could maybe try and make something incredible happen. But my problem with the way it seems they're going about it is that it seems somewhat similar to the Spider-Man situation, where, like you said, they're trying to out-spectacle themselves,
Yeah.
but they're trying to do it in a fashion where they're trying to out-spectacle themselves, but not in the same manner. They're trying to distance themselves a bit too much without paying. They paid some homage in the first trailer, which I was like, okay, I'm cool with this. But the second trailer made me think, well, if you're trying to go a completely different direction to try and make yourselves unique, you might end up taking away from what Jurassic Park is itself is supposed to be, and then you end up with a movie that's not good for anybody really. So I don't know about this Jurassic Park story.
I'm with Snare on that one. Hey, I think, there's some things that you just leave alone, bro, because it's not going to get better. I mean, we could be proven wrong, but I just think it's, they should just left it alone, bro. It's one of those things, just leave it alone. Don't redo it. Why?
Not this is like people thought they could make a better RoboCop. Yeah, that went well.
Actually, I can't think of it now, but if I had to write down a list, I'd be able to come to a list with 1,000 movies that people thought they could make better, and you went and you thought, what the fuck did you oaks do,
Yeah.
Like what went wrong, guys?
Well,
Just
just to play devil's advocate for a second, I think the premise, because this is not a continuation. This is essentially a reboot, right?
yeah.
This is basically a timeline where Jurassic Park happened, as opposed to the park failing, and as in the previous continuity. This is Jurassic Park as it actually became a success. So I like the idea of actually having I guess the scope is a little bit bigger than it was in the previous movie, but once again, it could be a double-edged sword because the scope is bigger, the spectacle is bigger, and then we might lose some of the magic that we had in the previous Jurassic Park. And then I have to address this, guys. Chris Pratt training the raptors. Someone explain.
Yeah. I saw a scene where he's riding on a motorbike and they're like running next to him like his pets, bro. I was like, no.
You know why that happened, right? They were like, okay, so this is the logic of the Jurassic Park directors. They're like, okay, everybody loves Chris Pratt. Everybody thinks this guy is awesome.
Yeah.
So, and everybody likes dinosaurs, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna combine the two together. And how can this not result in automatic awesomeness? And I don't think it's a good idea, like the training thing, but I guarantee there's gonna be people who are gonna go watch the movies specifically because they were like, well, in the trailer we saw Chris Pratt training dinosaurs, and that's what I want to watch. That's what we came here for.
No. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember Deep Blue Sea. They had that shark wrangler guy, and I thought that dude was so hardcore, just the way he wrangled sharks. But you didn't train them to be his pets, This thing makes it out to be as if these dinosaurs are Chris Pratt's pets. I'm just
Hey, man.
no.
It could work out.
Nope.
Wait, have you guys seen that GIF that came out on 9gag? Where that scene where he's riding next to him on his motorbike, right?
Yeah.
Where one of the raptors runs next to him and gives him a fist pound. Then he keeps going. I'm pretty sure if that was in the movie. Like the movies you think would be sold out already. They'd be pre-order movies. The first pre-order movie.
Okay, I won't lie. If that did happen, I think I'd most probably go watch it as well.
Yeah,
When I saw it, I was like, okay.
that would be mad hype. Okay, so final verdict. I am cautiously optimistic. You guys?
I'm optimistic. Just, it's like, what Jurassic Park is like now, right? It's like the Mugabe presidency. At one point, you just say, guys, let it die. Just, the magic is gone.
That's metaphor, bro. Snare, be careful. Bob's already sending soldiers to your house, bro.
Nah, bro, it's fine. Sometimes you trip over the carpet. Sometimes you just gotta fall, and you accept it, and you just move on, bro.
Yeah, well, how many times does Jurassic Park have to fall? That is the question, bro.
That is indeed a good question.
Well, before we sign off on Jurassic Park, my one also worry, right? I'm concerned if this movie is successful, we might get another Jurassic Park 3, and that doesn't need to happen.
That I certainly agree with you there, but nonetheless, on to the next movie. This one, it came out of nowhere because I had no idea this was even a thing. Kingsman, guys. I want to watch this movie. This movie is out. It's got Sam Jackson. It's got mixtures of different genres. I mean, it's a spy movie, and everything about it just seems mad hype. And they do have Mark Hamill showing up in a very small role, by the way. So the Luke Skywalker fans are probably looking for that as well. Have you guys seen the trailer?
Yes, I have, and to be honest, I don't even want to watch this movie at all. Not even one little bit do I want to watch it. The only thing that looks vaguely entertaining, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is Sam Jackson as that villain. That's the only reason why I would watch this movie. Everything else about it just looks like the same. It looks like a Spy Kids for teenagers, bro. It really looks like it's not quite James Bond. It's not quite Spy Kids. It's like a middle ground Spy Kids for teenagers. I'm not interested at all in watching that movie. Just personal opinion from watching the trailer.
Hey man, I want to watch this movie. By the way, just to harken back to that point, this is actually a rated R movie.
Rated R.
It is actually a rated R movie. So apparently, it does have sections where it gets hardcore on the action. Listen, I am kind of excited. Listen, it's Matthew Vaughn directing this. I really want to see this.
The reason why I want to see the movie, I think there's two trailers. I only saw the one.
Yep.
If I'm honest, I just want to see this guy. What's his face? Mark Strong, who's in the movie.
Yep.
I like Mark Strong a lot. He was in Kick-Ass. Who was he in Kick-Ass again? I think he was Frank. Yeah, he was Frank in Kick-Ass. So, and he also played something else in DC. He was Sinestro, actually, in the DC movies.
Yes,
in Green Lantern. Yeah, I like that guy. I want to see that in the movie. I get Kurt's point in that I'm not so sure how this is going to work, like logistically, and if it's really going to be a good movie, even if it is rated R, that doesn't always mean something. We've seen many a rated R movie just be tame as hell in terms of production and at the end of the day. But I don't know. I think I'll have to see it myself. I think it's one of those movies where I don't have a particular inclination beforehand. And I just have to, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, meh. Not really a waste of life.
Yeah, like I said, for me, the only pull factor is Samuel Jackson. From the trailer, like I already could see I like this character, you know.
Michael Caine's in it.
Yeah, no, but just in terms of characters, the rest just did nothing for me. I mean, none of them pulled me to want to go watch this movie, you know. The only character that I looked like, hey, damn, I want to go watch this movie was Samuel Jackson. The rest just, it really looked like it's just things that have been done a million times before in a million different movies. I just wasn't, for me, definitely, I don't think I'm going to go to see it in cinema. Even the reviews that I've read up on it haven't been that great.
8.3 on IMDb, though.
Who looks at IMDb anymore, right? Rotten Tomato got 72%. 6.6 out of 10 is the average rating.
That's not so bad.
That's not so bad.
Sharknado got like 7, guys. Come now.
Yeah, that's because Sharknado should have won an Oscar. That movie was revolutionary, man.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like, I think maybe the biggest pull for me is that outside of it retreading the steps that prior movies have taken. Sure, you've got the spy you've got the spy vibe coming out from James Bond. You've got the balls to the wall action that you've seen in Kick-Ass, and obviously you've got the young recruit vibe that even though I'm not entirely sure if I agree with the comparison with Spy Kids, but you might have that vibe as well. I think maybe the biggest thing for me is that it looks like a very fun movie.
Can we actually talk about Spy Kids? I actually want to watch that movie again now. I want to see Antonio Banderas. Come on, guys.
No.
See,
I
you're telling me
refuse
you
to
didn't like
bring
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids into the podcast today.
Hold
It's
on.
not happening.
Spy Kids 3, maybe not. But Spy Kids 1, guy, come on, think about it.
Hey guys, can I give you an alternative suggestion? I'm just here on Rotten Tomatoes, and they say it got 72%. Go for 73% rather than watch a SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. Let's go do that.
No. I refuse. On principle, I refuse.
Why are you hating,
On
bro?
principle.
Why are you hating?
No, I'm
Listen,
refusing.
I think you have to take the Rotten Tomato ratings with a grain of salt, because you have to realize as well. Yeah, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because if you look at the difference between the two ratings, because when you look at the critics, it's got a 72 and average rating 6.6. But if you look at the audience it's rocking an 89%.
Still not good enough, bro.
I don't know, man. You have to remember as well. I think critics versus audience. Normally, we see very different things in movies, and we kind of enjoy movies a little bit differently. And I feel maybe critics are obviously a little bit more. They scrutinize the movie
Critical?
a little bit more.
Yeah, that would be.
They scrutinize the movie a little bit more. So if an audience can say 89%, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems enticing, but my final verdict on that is I want to see this movie. It looks like a fun movie. Colin Firth. Apparently, they've got this new kid on the block as well. I want to see this movie.
If it is Spy Kids, I want to see Antonio Banderas. That's all I want. Give me Spy Kids 4, man.
No,
That's what I want to see.
no, that falls on the things that we should not. Wait, they might be a Spy Kids 4 if I remember correctly.
Really?
Actually.
Don't
Yes.
play with me. Don't play with
No,
me.
I'm not joking. There might be a Spy Kid, but I'm not gonna look for it because no Spy
In
Kids
4D and or in 3D. I want to see Spy Kids 4 in 4D.
Oh my goodness, that should not be a thing. So, what are your final verdict, guys?
I'm not
Like I
in-
said,
I'm not
if it's great, it's
keen.
cool. But if it's not, I think I have the same opinion of it that I had of Guardians of the Galaxy when it came out. Where I will take the hype with a grain of salt. If it's a great movie, then fantastic. But if it's not, then whatever. It doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah,
Okay.
you see, I had the same opinion about Guardians of the Galaxy. I really wasn't interested in seeing it, and then I watched it, and my mind was blown.
Yeah.
So this could be another case like that. I'm not denying that at all, but for me right now, I definitely think I'll wait for it to come out on DVD before I go see it.
Okay.
Air quotes DVD.
Air quotes DVD. Air
That's
quotes.
a legit channel. Please keep it legit.
Air quotes DVD. Apparently, we still use DVD, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, man.
Blu-ray
You're gonna
is-
go rent it at the store. Yeah, he's legit.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Ted 2. I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. I don't understand why this is even a thing.
Dude, I didn't want to see Ted 1. Then I saw it and I hated myself for seeing it. Now you're gonna bring me another one? Really?
Here's the thing,
Seriously?
right?
Yeah.
Like, this is why I love doing with the two of you, because I think like I'm completely different in terms of views to you two. I didn't like Ted 1 at all, but I've seen the trailer for Ted 2, and I'm actually really interested to see it. It actually looks quite funny, right? It really does.
Here's the thing. I genuinely didn't mind the first Ted, but it wasn't one of those experiences where I thought to myself, I'm probably gonna watch this again and again and again. And I'm starting to get the idea that Seth MacFarlane, I don't know, man. I feel like he's trying to relive his glory days of his initial rise to fame with Family Guy, but I don't know. I don't see why we need to be having this Ted 2 coming up. I'm not even remotely interested.
So like I said, one I didn't enjoy. I didn't actually enjoy one. So when I saw the trailer for two, I was like, meh, whatever. And then I watched the trailer, and I actually found myself laughing and actually saying, I actually want to see this movie. You know?
Now,
I
I tell
thought
you
the
why
trailer
they're
was good.
making Ted 2. Right? Obviously because Seth MacFarlane wants to relive his glory days, right?
Yeah.
But here's the real reason. The real reason, right? So Ted 1, budget of $50 million, I think, more or less, right? Ted 2, no, and then Ted 1, it made in total, I think it was close to like, if not more, close to, but if not more than $500 million. It's really difficult to not justify a sequel, no matter how bad a movie is, if you make 1,000% profit. So
Good God.
it's like, wow. As much as I don't like Ted 1, and I really didn't like it at all, if I was in charge of the production, I would make Ted 2 because I'd feel like, shit, guys, a lot of money. Let's do this again.
Yeah, you know who you sound like right now?
Yeah.
Michael Bay.
Yeah, motherfucking money, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much Michael Bay's. That's his
One
view
charge,
on
bro.
most things.
Yeah, man.
Although he spends a lot more money on, and I guess he gets maybe a bigger return, but Yeah, let's not bring Michael Bay into this as well.
Michael Bay, man, what a fucking money. That's what it's
Okay,
about.
so the verdict on Ted 2. Yay, nay. I'm not interested.
Well, with me, it's a yay. I didn't think I'd be saying that, but I want to see Ted 2. It looks funny.
Okay, they have a unique opportunity though, right? With Ted 2. If you can make a sequel, a funny sequel, out of an unfunny movie, then I'll be deeply impressed and you deserve all the respect in the world. So, I say no, but I'm tentative. I want to see if they can maybe top themselves. If they can, then it'll be great. So for now, it's a nay for now, but we'll see.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on to the next bit. This is a big one. Fantastic Four with a new trailer out.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Ah,
Because
man.
this is apparently it looks like a very how do I put it? It looks like a darker take on the whole Fantastic Four, and I think they harkening back to the whole Spider-Man thing, where you had the reboot and they tried by all means to distance themselves from the previous incarnation, right? It looks like this is exactly what's happening here. They're trying to distance themselves as much as they can from the original Fantastic Four.
So much so that they got a black guy. That's as far as you get. They were like, no, we're going in the opposite direction. I don't know. With Fantastic Four, for me, I kind of feel like if there's going to be a comic line that doesn't need to be super serious,
Yeah,
probably going to be the Fantastic Four. I mean, sure, Reed Richards is a serious character, right? In every
yeah,
regard, because, the man does a lot of things in the Marvel Universe. But in general, like, the Fantastic Four as a whole, when you think of them, you don't immediately think gritty, mature comics. You think, something that I'm just going to chill, I'm just going to hang out. It'll be great stories, but it's not going to be something that's going to make me question, like, I don't know, the nature of morality or something like that.
yeah,
And also, I'm not entirely sure that the casting decisions might have been on point, because you need people for Fantastic Four to work, right? You need particular things. You need the person who's portraying Reed Richards, right? You need to be instantly convinced that this man knows what he's talking about. You need to look at
yeah,
this guy and say, yeah, this is a guy I'm going to trust with some good decisions. I know he knows what's up. I'm not sure I get that sense from this new guy. And also, the actress that they chose for Susan Storm,
yep,
she played in House of Cards, right? She was the journalist there. So I'm not so sure. Her last big role was a plot-driven drama. So obviously, it says a lot of things that they chose her for a comic book story.
yep,
So they know her capabilities, right? And they're not gonna put someone just in jail. So they chose her knowing that she's good at doing drama. So that means that it's definitely the direction that the movie's going in, as mentioned. And they interviewed that guy, Michael B. Jordan,
yep,
about it, and he was talking about how the movie is a lot more gritty, a lot darker. And ironically, he's the Human Torch, the guy who's historically had the most fun. But when they ask him about the movie, he talks about the fact that the characters are, in some sense, they don't have abilities, they have disabilities, which means
yeah.
it's a lot more introspective take on the characters. And this coming from Johnny Storm, I don't know.
Yeah, my 2 cents worth is, although I've never been a huge Fantastic Four fan, like,
Rightfully
of the
so.
comic book series, never my favorite. Then the movies that they made, I thought were absolutely horrible, and they made me like it even less. The previous movies. So I don't know if I'm just looking at it with a tainted image, but I don't see them doing anything different. But more importantly, here's my question. So Sue Storm, Kate
Yeah,
Mara, Johnny Storm, Michael B. Jordan.
yeah.
I saw this question coming a mile away.
Adoption, bruh.
I saw this question coming a mile.
It's a thing, man. People
I
adopt.
know. I mean, when they were casting this movie, did the people casted actually know that they cast a brother and sister, bro?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of YOLO Gaming, sir?
Like, what?
Marvel YOLO movie edition. Yeah, man.
I mean, how does that happen? If you got one
It
It
is.
is.
It is
It is.
possible.
It is though. It
It
probably
is
is
scientifically
adoption.
possible. So
but very unlikely, bro.
very unlikely. But they were like, okay, maybe this is the logic, right? So they're like, what are the odds of a brother and sister anyway going to space at the same time, right? And what are the odds of a brother and sister going to space and getting powers? So if all this stuff's unlikely, one time might as well make everything an unlikely. every coincidence possible, put it in one movie.
Okay, I forgot who said it now, but the one Dota player, what's his one charge? Never go half retard, go full retard.
Yeah, that was no tail.
No,
If the
that
game
is-
goes retard, you go full retard. Don't
Never
half
go
retard.
half. If you go half, you will lose. Okay, here's the thing, right? Sure, we can argue that point back and forth, but I do think Michael B. Jordan will I think he's got enough acting chops to pull off the role. I'm just worried about the entire gritty nature of what this is going to be.
Well, he has superhero experience from
Yes,
Chronicle.
I mean,
So,
and I only recently just watched Chronicle, by the way, and oh my goodness.
how great is Chronicle?
I had such a good time watching that movie.
Is that the
Sanity,
one
have
where-
you seen Chronicle?
That's one where they film the camera as a handheld camera, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. I love that movie.
Yeah, that was pretty great. So, if that's where they're coming from, there is, although, one big thing we haven't spoken about with regards to the Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
And that is the salt that Marvel has displayed, and they have displayed phenomenal salt about this entire situation. So, because they don't own the Fantastic Four series, right?
Yeah, they
The
don't
rights
own.
to the movies.
Yeah.
And I believe that the rights are expiring either this year or next year.
Yeah.
And that's the primary reason why. Is it Sony or Columbia that owns Fantastic Four?
I think it's is it Fox? Wait, hold up.
Well, no, it's Fox. Yeah, it's
It's
Fox.
Fox,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the primary reason why Fox decided to remake the movie is because the rights were expiring soon, right? So now, because they're making this movie, the rights to the Fantastic Four is locked again from
Yeah.
Marvel, right? And Marvel, in response to this, right, did what is possibly conceived the saltiest thing you can do. They were like, okay, you're taking this Fantastic Four, which is, by the way, one of our oldest comic book lines.
Yeah.
Fine, we're canceling it. Effective, I think it's June or July this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four comics are cancelled. Done. Because fuck you. I was like, yo, okay. That's some salt right there.
So salty.
Because, like, I don't know who said it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was an official statement from anyone from Marvel, but I believe the rhetoric was they don't want the comic book line to provide free advertising for the movies. So, fuck it. They canceled it. I was like, yo, okay. That's real life right there.
Oh, so much saltiness, bro.
Yeah, no, that is actually pretty salty. What are your thoughts on them doing that? I don't know. Like, good God.
A large part of me is impressed. I'm like, wow, okay, you guys went this far. Okay,
I
shut
see their reasoning though, bro. Like, I think they took it a little bit too far, possibly. Like, I see the reasoning. I mean, why should they carry on and support this if they've only got like half the rights to it,
Okay, before this happened, right? I could have potentially seen what we're essentially seeing now with Spider-Man. I could have potentially seen Marvel extending a hand, but I mean, post this move and post the fact that these guys decided we're actually gonna release another movie and pretty much lock down the rights. Do you guys really see Fantastic Four ever making it back? I mean, with the comic book line obviously cancelled, does Marvel really care about them anymore?
The question is, does anybody else actually really care about them?
Yeah, I think maybe that's the more pertinent question.
Actually, I somewhat care because I read Civil War from Marvel. It was one of the first big crossover, long-term,
Yeah.
big things from Marvel that I
and the
read.
Fantastic Four are an integral part. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't.
So,
It's like
let's not say Fantastic Four.
Reed Richards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Reed
Reed Richards. The others barely even feature, right?
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
all about Reed Richards.
So, but my thing is that if you don't have Reed Richards in your rights, right, you can't you can't do a full justice to Civil War because you need Reed Richards, right? You can't really do full justice to the Illuminati storyline. So there's like, and how do you, like, a lot of times handling Thanos might become difficult without
Yeah.
Reed Richards because he adds so much to the thing. It's like, and also because of the fact that they fired, or not that he's fired, but Marvel doesn't want to continue working with Robert Downey Jr. because his wages are too high.
yep.
So when the new Avengers movie is gonna come out, right? Which smart guy you're gonna have who's gonna be pulling boss ideas out of his ass at every turn? If not Tony Stark, right? Because he's out. If you don't have Reed Richards, because you don't have the rights to him,
Yeah.
Who's going to be doing the mental heavy lifting? You can't have. It could be Bruce Banner, but it's
Spider-Man.
it's putting
Spider-Man.
too much on him. No, but even Spider-Man, right? They can't even do Spider-Man because if Spider-Man comes in, it'll be his first foray into the Avengers, right? So they haven't had the time to establish him as the person that the Avengers trust in an intellectual skill,
Yeah.
which they would have Tony Stark, or even if Reed Richards came in at some point, because he has that authority. Because he's just like, bitch, I'm Reed Richards, come on now. So Spider-Man is gonna be like, oh, it's just some punk kid. What do we do now? So I don't know how this is gonna go down.
Yeah, that I don't know. We'll see what they eventually do. Because I mean, for all intents and purposes, they are kind of reworking some things. I mean, for the mere fact that Tony Stark is the catalyst for Civil War instead of Hank Pym as in the original storyline, it's a signal of the fact that they're willing to change some things, and we don't know. It could be for the better. It could be for the worst. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And speaking of Hank Pym, is anyone really enthusiastic about Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Um, at first I wasn't for a very long time, and then I thought about it, and I just want to see, right? I really want to see. Because if you think about it, the aspect of putting Ant-Man on film is going to be cinematic genius. Because you have to somehow convince me that this guy who just shrinks, right, this
Yeah.
is his primary aspect of power, that this man is he's gonna be gonna be an Avenger, he's gonna be integral in Civil War, he's gonna be integral in stopping Thanos. So I really want to see how, because the last Marvel movie that came out, Guardians of the Galaxy, right, huge scale.
Yeah.
I want to see if they can do that in the opposite direction. So I'm just
Yeah.
interested to see how they're gonna pull it off in a cinematographic sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Meh.
well.
That's all I'm saying is meh.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, right? I saw I think maybe the trailers what gave me this huge indifference, but I think the biggest thing for me is the trailer was the most generic thing I've ever seen. The old father figure voiceover as you see him handing the reins over to the new guy, and the new guy pretty much rising from the ashes of his previous life and so forth. That is the most generic thing I've ever seen, and it didn't hype me up at any point. And I mean, this is a Marvel property, and when a Marvel trailer does not hype you up, then I have no enthusiasm whatsoever.
Like a
To be
Blizzard
fair,
trailer, and Blizzard releasing a good game, after they've released a shitty trailer. That's never gonna happen, bro. They're gonna release
every
an awesome trailer and a shitty game every time.
every day, every single time, in lines. I don't know, with Marvel, for me, it kind of feels like, let's be honest, that Ant-Man it feels like filler. It
It
feels like they
is.
made the movie because they were like, well, we need this guy in the Avengers for whatever reason for the story, but you can't just drop him in. I don't know. We've got this money lying around. How much? Let's see what the budget is. And I think the success of Guardians had a lot to do with the decision to greenlight as many movies as they did in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
Because before, a lot of the properties we've seen that they want to bring out is not heroes that we were necessarily familiar with as much as, say, the Avengers or Iron Man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking what they did, they were like, okay, let's release this Guardians movie, something that no one knows absolutely nothing about. See what happens. If it works out, then clearly we can literally do what we want and people are still gonna buy into it. If it fails, then we know the slower roll, release what's more conventionally accepted. And it worked out really well, so they're like, fuck it, we can do whatever. Hell, I think that even if they make a loss on Ant-Man, it'll still be net profit overall because of the success of Guardians. So
Yeah.
I actually don't think they care. I think they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yep. I don't know. I'm on the Ant-Man story. I'm indifferent. I I can't be swayed either way. I guess I'll have to see how they actually take on the movie, and I guess I agree on the side of seeing how they pull off the whole shrinking side of things. I think
Yeah, yeah.
if they can pull off the scale, I can kind of admire their technical prowess, I guess.
My problem is I prejudge a lot of these movies just based on the comics. Like, not a big Fantastic Four fan, not too excited about the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Captain America fan, super excited about the movie. First one was horrible, second one was amazing, but you know what I'm saying. And for me, there is a lot of comics that just should never have been written in my mind. Ant-Man was one of them. You can shrink. Really,
Yes.
Barney?
You can shrink.
I'm so excited. I want to be just like you when I grow up, bro. I want to be able to shrink. You know, and I'm not saying that it's not going to change my mind. I mean, when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I knew nothing about it, but I saw a tree and I was like, oh, this tree looks lame as anything. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh my sack, that's my new favorite character of all time, bro. You know,
Yeah.
how have I not read these comics? I literally wanted to go buy the comics the next day, you know?
You actually just
So-
made me want to watch Captain America 2 again.
Yeah,
Man, that
watched
movie
it the
was
other
awesome.
day. I watched it
Yeah.
last weekend.
So great.
That movie is indeed amazing. So, final verdict on Ant-Man. I'm indifferent. They might change my mind. You guys?
I just want to see. I want to see like the movie, but I don't care about what happens in it. So yeah.
Okay,
That's
these two, I guess we're gonna run through them because I
Go
don't
Spider-Man.
we didn't really see that much in the teasers that were pulled out. On one end we've got Tomorrowland, on the other we've got Heroes Reborn.
Yep.
Tomorrowland. I don't know where my thoughts are. I really don't know where my thoughts are with Tomorrowland.
My thing about Tomorrowland, I looked at it. I looked at the trailer and I was like, it gave me what I did like about the Tomorrowland trailer, right?
Yeah.
Is that overall it gave me an overwhelming sense of, And I think a lot of the times when you watch trailers, right, we expect to either be immediately blown away or immediately disappointed, right? So it giving me,
Yeah, it piques your
was interesting
interest.
because I haven't seen that in a long time. It's like, okay, I want to see. Now I actually have no idea where you're going with this, so I want to see what you're gonna do with it.
I don't know. I do want to see it because it does look like something that's off the beaten path in terms of what we have seen in recent years, what we are going to see in the few coming years with comic books pretty much taking over the blue screen.
Tomorrowland, I'm also curious. The trailer doesn't show you that much, though. You know. So,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
I'm
a
gonna say,
teaser for
I'm
intents and purposes.
curious to see. Seems like it's got potential,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'm sold on it yet. You know.
Okay. I guess the consensus for the most part is we're curious.
Yeah, but as well, the last time I saw a movie that had time travel, I was watching Looper, and I don't want to see that again. So please don't
What's
give me
amazing?
Looper.
What's
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
you?
I didn't mind Looper though. I
was
genuinely
really
did not
bad,
mind
guys.
Looper.
If we had
was
more time, I
brilliant.
could go into a litany of reasons why Looper was pretty bad.
Listen,
Looper
I'll
was
admit
brilliant,
the
bro. I
time
loved
travel, which I guess is the biggest draw of the thing. Sure, it had its flaws, but I think it itself, in terms of the story that it presented, it wasn't in.
Nah, guys. Nah, guys.
I disagree
Nah,
with you. I
guys.
loved Looper. I thought
If
it was
it's
an
possible,
excellent movie.
if it's logistically possible to make a movie more contrived than Looper, right? I will pay a man money here and now because I don't think it is. Like, there's a lot of things wrong with Looper. I don't think we have time now, but
No, listen. Time travel wise, yes, I certainly agree. The main hook of the movie, there are things that are wrong with the movie, but I still feel that the actual story, the actual characters, it was enough to be an enjoyable movie.
you expect me to believe, right? So I'm watching this movie, and you're like, okay, the entire start of Darkness, right, hinges on this kid. So, firstly, just a quick thing of what's wrong with the movie, right? So, at the end of the movie, you get to a point where Joseph
Spoiler
Gordon-Levitt
alert. Spoiler
realizes.
alert.
All right, so beyond that, there's a
spoiler
kid
alert.
involved, and this kid's supposed to become like the grand evil in the future, right?
Yeah,
So so Bruce Willis showed an immediate willingness to kill this kid. We realize what the kid can do, right? He's immediately like, this is a bad idea. This kid needs to die. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. And you're gonna tell me that Bruce Willis, who's been shown in this movie to be not exceptionally dangerous. He's dangerous, but he's not a psychopath or whatever. How this kid gets to adulthood without one guy saying, this motherfucker's dangerous, I'm gonna kill him right here and now. I'm like, but guys, kid shows absolutely zero knowledge of how to get stuff from himself beyond just simply intimidating his mother.
Yeah.
So when these techniques don't work against men with guns who will just shoot you on sight and say, no, fuck you. So, like I said, I can
He
literally
blows
spend the
up
next
men with
hour
guns, bro. What are you
talking about this movie, about the problems, the issues with this movie involved.
Okay, we don't have enough time for that. So, going back to the whole thing, Tomorrowland, we are curious, and this one I bring up with a heavy heart because I don't know if this needs to happen. I might want to see it because of how bad the original eventually ended up being. Heroes Reborn.
Yes, I'm actually excited.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. I'm very excited, but I'm worried at the same time because I mean the first season of the original Heroes.
The first season of Heroes was something
good.
special.
It was
Not
pretty
good.
good.
It was amazing.
It was something
I
special.
loved
It was something to
Heroes.
behold, right? And then the roller coaster just kept going down. You know, it kept going down as the seasons progressed. So I am hoping that we can get some of that season 1 magic and keep it going.
You know why I'm excited,
Yeah.
right? For Heroes. Because it was... The first season came out in 2006, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 9 years. Bras have sat down and said, okay, sure. From season 1, I'm talking about. They've had 9 years to reflect, right? And if you reflect on, say, okay, so we had 5 seasons of this thing. Everything except for the first one was good. Like, it was bad. Everything. 2, 3, 4, 5, all shit. But 1 was special, right?
Yeah.
What is it about 1 that hooked everybody, that made people believe that, yeah, this is the way to go, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that people had OP powers like the latest season. It wasn't the added government conspiracies that got bigger and bigger and bigger with each season. It wasn't the overwhelming sense of urgency that came about. No. It was something small. It was the characters. It was how they responded to these powers, right?
Yeah.
And the discovery of the powers.
Yeah.
The discovery of the powers. It was something special. It was like, what would a normal thinking person, someone who's not a superhero, doesn't have unrealistic expectations of what to do, how would you react if suddenly you woke up and found out you could control time? If you woke up, you found out you could fly. Things like that. It was the little small things, right?
Yeah.
So when you watch the Heroes
It
Reborn
felt
trailer,
personal, basically.
it felt very personal,
Yeah.
right? So when you watch this new trailer and you see, okay, sure, the guy, I don't know who the guy is from behind, right?
Yeah.
But everyone involved in the trailer seems to be in awe.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what was missing from the latest season of Heroes. The awe, the sense of what's actually happening. Like, wow, this is amazing. So if they can recapture that, and I believe they can, because they've had a lot of time to think about how not to do it.
Yeah.
If they can figure out how to do it again, I think it'll be special again. And
Yeah.
I think that's what was missing.
But are they rebooting the series or how are they handling this? Did you see they've got the same dude from the original season, from the original series,
Yeah.
the one that
Hornet
goes after all the
classes.
heroes or whatever, yeah. So how are they actually doing? Because they've been very, very vague about what they're doing.
Purportedly, it's a reboot. That's the understood
Yeah, so
rationale. But
as far as I understand, it's a reboot.
at the
Even
same
that they've
time,
been very vague about that. They haven't actually confirmed reboot yet.
yeah. But the thing is, the way I think about it is the way they should handle it, right? I don't think they should handle it as a straight up reboot. I don't think they should handle it as a prequel or sequel either. I think they should find a new way, in the same way that Heroes 1 found a new way to deal with superheroes. If they can do that again, even in terms of just production, then everything else will rationally follow up and become better as a result.
Yeah.
Well, either way, guys, I must admit, on this one, I am still excited about it. When I heard about it, my first instinctual thought was like, I really hope this is good. I actually want to see whether it's going to be good or bad. So I can guarantee you, when the first episode airs, I will be watching it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty amped for it. I just hope that we don't go down the dark path that we went through in previous endeavors with Heroes.
Yeah, man. Don't give me teabag who's an earthbender, and that's supposed to be the villain. Don't do that again.
Okay, heading on to the last one. Fast 7.
Yes, best movie ever. I'm already convinced. Best movie ever. Immediately.
That is the response that I knew would come up right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I want to see it. Like, looking at the trailer, the amount of spectacle,
That's so cool.
just the sheer spectacle of the entire thing, just it blows my mind. It's gonna be so ridiculous, but it's gonna be so entertaining.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to find a runway longer than the one they did in the last one?
Buzz. A magic runway makes a comeback. They're going to use the same one.
Bro, I think they're now going, because I mean, they drove on that runway for like, what, an hour of the movie?
Okay, no, not the next logical step is, right? Now, in Fast 7, they're going to start physically building road in front of them as they drive. you know when I was excited, right? Because when they announced the trailer, I was like, okay, guys, you better do it justice. And then I saw that the trailer starts with people attaching chutes to cars.
Yes.
And it'll be one thing if they deployed the chute, landed, and from there did everything else, But start the cars in midair and immediately start moving as you hit the ground. I was like, yes, this is the movie for me. This is the one. And then I heard that they were like, so Paul Walker died during production. Man, we've got enough footage. It's okay, carry on. Who needs to change the character? I was like, yeah, that's the dedication I want from my action movies.
Here is the scene that clinched it for me, right? As the trailer's about to end, you see a car just fly through buildings, right?
Yes.
And The Rock's character just flies out of that car, and you just see it careening off, and I'm just like, the sheer spectacle of
when Paul Walker in the movie, like, where he's on the bus, and the bus is about to fall off the cliff, and he runs up the bus, and lady drifts the car, and he jumps on. I was like, yeah, okay, chef. This is exactly what I paid for.
I must admit, though, I don't get it, bro. I really don't.
It's the
I
best
absolutely hate these movies, bro.
I
love Fast and Furious 1. Every other one since then, in my mind, has been utter crap. And everybody loves him, bro. Everybody goes mad about him. And I don't know what I'm missing. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm sure it's the same thing because I absolutely love the Expendables. And I'm sure everybody's going, what a load of crap this is, bro.
I love the Expendables, the first one. I loved the second one. I was not on board for the third one.
I loved the third one.
I did not like. See,
I love the meta, bro. I love the meta in that movie.
See, I feel like the second movie is more meta. The biggest issue that I had with the third movie had an identity crisis, because on one end you've got your main cast, and then the story in terms of the way the story is progressing, you've got these characters. The Stallone character is pretty much letting them go. He's bringing in a new cast. I mean, the gimmick of the Expendables, in my opinion, the gimmick is having all these action stars together. And when you're gonna bring in these characters, I literally cannot tell you a single character's name out of the youngsters that were brought into the whole team. And it felt like they just had an identity crisis in terms of what they were doing with the movie.
My thinking is that's kind of these old guys' way of handing down the reins. That's the way I looked at it anyway. And I thought it was a very creative way to do that,
And I saw it as an identity crisis.
That we are saying are the potential next generation of action heroes,
Nah, dude, the next generation.
They're not even close, though. I'm not even gonna lie. The people that I saw, those are not they're not even close to the next generation of next action stars, man. I don't see it.
The next level is Vin Diesel. And Kurt, I can explain to you why everyone loves the Fast and Furious movies, right? In a single line. So, in a single scene, rather. Fast and Furious 5, right? They're in the middle of Brazil. And here comes Dwayne Johnson. The Rock's coming to arrest you. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if The Rock walks up to me, surrounded by platoon of armed men, carrying a gun, a thing, a pistol that's about the size of a small rifle. And he's like, yeah, I'm arresting you now. Most people would probably be a little bit scared. Be like, the Rock's here. Let's think about this, guys. Then Vin Diesel looks at him and says, you're a long way from home, boy. This is Brazil. And suddenly, everyone, and I mean everyone, women are pulling guns out of bikinis. And I was like, yes. Yes. This is what's up. This is the hype.
Get it, bro. I still don't get that
That
movie.
movie's so outrageous.
It's so cool.
Like I said in the last one, when you had them driving on a runway for about literally half that movie, bro.
Yes.
I just sat there going, really, guys?
Yes.
Where is this runway, bro?
Yes, bro. Where
That
people
is-
are driving in the dark at maximum speed through a mine shaft, I was like, yes.
Yeah. No.
This is what I wanted to see.
I think I'm just gonna stick away from that one, bro.
No, you need to watch it. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see it. I take it Snare's excited.
Yes, dude.
And I take it Insanity is indifferent.
I want this movie so much, right? I would be willing. If they told me this is going to be the first movie with DLC, I'd be like, shut up.
You see, I'm not excited at all. Not indifferent, bro. Not excited at all.
Yeah.
Not
Okay,
excited, bro.
fair enough. But nonetheless, to wrap it up, those were the movie news. Those were the trailers from the past 2 weeks. This is the third episode of the eAe podcast, and this was St. D, Snare, and Insanity. If you want to keep us bringing you more and more, just keep your suggestions in the comment section. Like and subscribe for more of this content, and we'll be bringing you all the news, all the trailers, all the media that's around. Follow us on Facebook at eAe Gaming. Follow us on Twitter at eAe Gaming, and of course, since you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, subscribe to this channel. And it was a good one, guys. I hope you guys had fun. I certainly had fun.
Yeah.
Good times.
Can I just add one final note there? I have already kind of, committed us to doing a podcast on books. So, gotta make it happen, guys.
Indeed,
Yeah,
we'll
man.
make it happen. Good
Fast and
gosh.
Furious book. I want to read that.
I'm pretty sure that one's gonna go over the limit in terms of the amount of time we're gonna talk about books.
And just on that point, the next one that we will do will be from my new Sennheiser's PC 350s, thanks to my gaming that I won. So just putting it out there, bro. Just look out for the amazing quality.
Indeed, that's a My Gaming plug, ladies and gentlemen. mygaming.co.za if you want to check out some of their stuff. But indeed, cheers, folks. I hope you had a good time listening to this, and we'll bring you more stuff as the news happens.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Cheers.